Greetings, Planeswalkers. Gamesman here. My daily today is play 25 lands, so I will be going over a Red Green Landfall deck. This is a pretty fun deck to play, pretty fast as well. I think you'll dig it. Only 124 cards in this deck, so we'll go over the single mana cards first. Akoum Hellhound. We got Spikefield Hazard. This is an interesting rare. Wayward Guide-Beast. It's a cheap card, but a good card. Trample and Haste. Whenever Wayward Guide-Beast deals combat damage to a player, return a land you control to its owner's hand. So it's tempting to get this creature out early because it's only one red. Unfortunately, in the early game, when you have only a few lands out, it can stymie your mana production. So it's actually better to come out later in the game when you can ensure that you always have a land in your hand to play for all of the landfall mechanic cards in the deck. Commune with Spirits. Top 4 cards of your library. Reveal enchantment or land card. Put it into your hand, dig up. I don't have any black in this deck, so essentially I'm just using it for its single mana mechanic. Skyclave Pick-Axe. Throw this on top of Akoum Hellhound, or later on Skyclave Geopede, or one of the other creatures that gets pumped when land hits the battlefield, is overwhelms fairly quickly. There's also a lot of land option cards, I'll call them. So this instant Vastwood Fortification and Vastwood Thicket, you have the option to use either or. 2 mana cards, Cleansing Wildfire. Typically I do this to my own deck, or to my own lands, so I can play another land and get the card draw. Additional lands on this enchantment. Druid Class, kind of a no-brainer. We're gaining life. Emergent Sequence, everybody's favorite uncommon. Kazandu Nectarpot for more life. Lotus Cobra, of course. If we're putting lands out often, we're getting that extra mana. Mulch. Roaring Earth from the Neon set. Scurrid Colony. This is a great card for this deck as well. If we're running low, we can get this thing out for 2 mana and get more lands out. Brushfire Elemental, of course, and Environmental Sciences. The 3 mana card, Skyclave Geopede. This would be the creature I'd put the pickaxe on. Another option card. Actually, a couple of option cards. Path to the Festival, you guys are familiar with this. Pretty good common card. Primal Adversary, once you get in the late game and you've got a lot of lands out, you can get a bunch of creatures. Roiling Regrowth. Scale the Heights. You happen on a Glade. Augur of Autumn, to be able to play lands from the top of your library. Kazandu Mammoth, of course. And then Dire-Strain Rampage. Again, I would typically use this to destroy one of my own lands and then drop 2 to the battlefield. And then you can always use the flashback later. Boseiju reaches skyward. This is a no-brainer for a land-heavy deck. Cartographer's Survey. Good card. And then Splendid Reclamation. If you've got a mill deck you're playing against, this can be a brutal card with some of the landfall creatures out. You get 8 or 10 land cards in your graveyard and play this card, it's over. Shaya, Soul of the Wild, that's kind of a no-brainer mythic for this deck. Morog, Fury of Akoum, this is a great card for this deck. It's obviously late game mythic, costing 6 red. Avabruck Caretaker, great mythic. Philath, the World Sculptor. Waking the Trolls. and Cultivator Colossus. So a lot of high mana mythic cards, but you should be able to have the mana to get them out fairly quickly with this deck. Obviously, we've got a lot of land in this deck and a lot of useful land with utility. Lair of the Hydra, Boseiju, who endures. Snowlands, we've got the Timber Crown and Craig Crown Pathway. Not Vold Slumber Mound. Some more multicolored lands, and then Evolving Wilds. So it's a fun deck to play. I originally made this deck a lot thicker and had a lot more versatility to it. I think I had it at one point, it was 4 colors, but it was too slow. It just was too slow, and I've been paring it down. I think I had it at one point at 180 or so cards, and I've been paring it down as time wears on, because you get into a match with another deck that's quicker, and it's just not fast enough to keep up. If your opponent takes out some of these landfall pumpable cards, you don't have a lot left, especially if you're still building up your mana. So, but it's a fun deck. It's got some neat cards in it. If you have any suggestions, leave a comment. I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. Still have a ton more decks to post, and I'd love to hear your feedback on this one. I'm sure there's some cards I could throw in here to make it that much better, or I could probably even pare it down even further. But I like it the way it is. Red green. There's some pretty neat combinations in here, and I've actually got a all green deck that I'll post that is similar to this. That's even quicker. So, and you know, for the mythics that are in there, there's not too many of them. You know, we're only talking, what is that, 6 mythics over here, and then I think that's it. I don't think there's any more mythics in the lower stuff, but not terrible. There's only 1 of each except for Avabruck. So, good deck. Tell me what you think if you put it together. And like I said, if you have suggestions, let me know. We'll see you on the battlefield, and that's all for me, the Gamesman. Thanks for watching, and so long.